what I was going to be when I grew up. Storyteller wasn't in the realm of existence or knowledge for me. And I fell in pretty much through the back door. I'm trained as a psychologist and have spent most of my life listening to people tell their stories. Of course, with a fascination for when people are stuck in their stories or in pain in their stories, how can I help them shift that so that they're living in a place where they want to be? So I guess naturally I've been doing it all the time without even being aware of the story work that I've been doing. When I was in my mid-level career, I started public speaking and bringing different kinds of content messages out into the world, but found that some people were returning to hear my talks over and over again, and I thought, I'm either not doing a good job because they haven't gotten it, or there's something that's bringing them back. And what I came to learn is that I was illustrating my content with stories, just intuitively and naturally. So I started to explore story, and what is it about story that allows information to be conveyed in a different way, or for people to bring themselves to it in such a way that it lightens up their stories. It allows them to make connections to things that the simple facts couldn't do. And the more I read, the more I became intrigued with the power of story to connect, to touch, to deepen. It crosses boundaries that couldn't be crossed otherwise. Story is non-judgmental, it's neutral. What's lovely about it is that everybody, as I've said, is shifting what they hear through their own stories, making meaning of it and valuing it, coming up with something different, but in a way that engages them, touches their heart as well as their head, and brings them to the circle in a way that's fully engaged. It's a very powerful way of expressing oneself, of bringing people together, of getting beneath traditional expectations or defenses, and allowing a very different conversation to occur. So the more I learned about it and understood it, the more I wanted to actually engage in story, to teach it, to work with it intentionally as a tool. I began my work in the nonprofit realm. I actually started working with recently released prisoners. I brought my work into homeless shelters, into soup kitchens. It evolved that I began working in hospitals with both the patient end as well as on the doctor end. And then I started to bring story into organizations, to work with executives to find their own stories, to tell them, but also to work with teams to bring them into alignment, sometimes with organizations to find a way to get their message clearer out to others, to be aware of where they were stuck in a message or not conveying the full potential of who they are and what they can do. Story meets all those needs.